Well, hello there. My name is Simon, and today I'm going to be sharing with you one of my favorite lead generating funnels that you can do in Kajabi. I call this the audio masterclass. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be playing around with the private podcast function and inside of Kajabi and turning this into a lead generator. And you can use this to nurture your audience, to grow your email list, to sell your offers. It is such a fun, unique funnel that I don't see a lot of people doing. In fact, I created this back in, I think, 2022 on a different platform. Later on, I moved it over to Kajabi. I had the front end opt-in page in Kajabi the whole time, but I was using another platform called Hello Audio originally. Later on, Kajabi decided to add inside of their products the private podcast feature. So I kind of migrated over there. I'm so excited to share this with you. Before we dive in, though, just if we haven't met before, or if you haven't seen one of my videos, my name is Simon, and I am an official an authorized Kajabi template provider. I focus on creating beautiful templates for high-end coaches and course creators, and I love using this channel to share with you some of the stuff that I am doing behind the scenes. I can do some breakdowns and some video walkthroughs of some of the things that have been very successful in my own business, as well as things that I do to help other clients out. All right, so before we dive in, I just wanted to share my screen with you and show you how this funnel is laid out. I'm going to be giving you kind of like a behind the scenes look at how this is built. And the first thing I'm going to do is pull up my Notion where I kind of have this little document written out about the steps that you need to do. Feel free to pause it if you want to write this down. I will drop this into the description later so that you can go over this. But basically, what we're doing is I call this a Kajabi audio masterclass. And the reason why I call it an audio masterclass is because, let's face it, podcast isn't really attention grabbing, right? Everybody has access to podcasts. There's a million out there. So what we're going to do is we're going to create the perception of a higher value through the private podcast, and we're going to call it an audio masterclass. If you have a different name, go for it. I just felt like this was really successful. The one that I did was on the topic of LinkedIn, so I called it basically my 11 ways to monetize LinkedIn audio masterclass. And think of this as basically a podcast version of a webinar that you don't have to show up live to. So a lot of times when you're launching an offer, you've got to like get people signed up, and you'll have like 1 to 3 different webinars where you pitch your offer, and you'll kind of go through a sequence on that webinar where you talk about, your backstory, introduce the problem and the pain points. You talk about the solution, which is your offer. You drop some value, usually 3 to 5 nuggets that you teach inside of that offer. And then you pitch your offer and create a little bit of urgency around that for somebody to buy it. And then I always love having in some bonuses, whether this is a webinar or this masterclass. But how this is laid out is we're going to take the idea of a webinar and we're going to convert it over into podcast format. We're going to put it behind a wall. So that way they have to opt in to get this. And that's how you grow your email list. But what is really cool about this is it has a much more higher perceived value than a normal lead magnet like a PDF or a cheat sheet or a template. There's just so much more value behind this, right? So people love opting in on this. This was definitely one of my best lead magnets I've ever created. Another thing that I love about podcasts in general, whether it's this private, audio masterclass or a podcast that you have out on Spotify or Apple, is it really gives you the opportunity for your clients to get to know you better. I mean, if you think about it, on a podcast, you're in their ear, and people are spending literally hours learning from you. And we're doing the same thing, but we're just kind of putting behind an opt-in page so that we can grow our email list. And what I love too is this works so well. It just generates leads while you're asleep, and it tees up your offers. Okay. So again, how this flow works is the first thing that we're going to do is you're going to create 5 to 7 podcast episodes, 10 to 20 minutes each in length. And the way I like to do this is if you were going to sell an offer using a webinar, basically do the same thing and just break it up into, 5 to 7 different episodes, right? So this is kind of the flow that I would use if I was doing a webinar. First part of the webinar, I'd be basically introducing myself, building authority, talking about my backstory and why I'm qualified to talk about this topic. And then after that, you kind of flow in to introduce the problem or the pain point that your clients are faced with. And then you kind of move into solutions and that solution being your offer. And then typically on a webinar, it's a good idea to be dropping some value. I love sharing 3 to 5 nuggets from my course or from my offer. And then the last part is you're pitching your offer, creating some urgency of why that they should be purchasing that, and then top it off with a bonus, right? So that's all we're doing here is turning that same format into separate episodes. And one thing that I love about podcasts is they're so easy to do, right? Instead of having to show up live at a certain time, you can record these. Like I've got 3 kids, and so for me, I love being able to create content in the morning, and I can get up before they're awake and record my podcast episodes. But it's super easy to do. You can just use a recorder, like a microphone and your voice recorder on your computer. Or if you have a different program that you use, if you're already doing podcasting, maybe you have some type of an app that you like to use. For me, it was just really easy to use the voice recorder and a Shure microphone, and the quality is really, really good. And I could just do these short episodes, and I was able to knock this out in just a couple of days, and then I have all of my content ready to go. Once you have your episodes ready, you can use Kajabi and create a new product. I'll show you how to do that in just a sec. And then you upload your episodes, and then you have your content. And then next, you're going to set up a form that triggers access to the podcast. And then you're also, you don't have to do this, but I would recommend creating a multi-day email sequence to nurture your audience along as they're listening to your podcast. Another great way for them to get to know you and also get them checking their emails, right? So, kind of the point behind this is to get them onto your email list. But if you're sending an email sequence out every single day for the first 7 to 9 days, it's a really good way to get them used to seeing your name in their inbox and opening up your email. The last thing that you're going to do is you're going to create your landing page where they drop their name and email and get access to your audio masterclass. So now let's look behind the scenes of how this is created. So inside of your products, inside of Kajabi, you're just going to go down here to podcasts and then click on new podcast. And this is where you'll upload those episodes that you recorded, right? Your 5 to 7 episodes that are part of your audio masterclass. Okay. Now I'm going to go back because I already have mine created. And like I said, I actually had this on a whole different platform and we were getting hundreds and hundreds of leads coming in. Later on, after Kajabi announced the private podcast function, I moved it over here, but now I use it more like a bonus. So I'll kind of throw this in with some of my other offers. I don't have this as an active lead magnet anymore, but I still have all the parts to it. So that's what I wanted to show you. So if I dive in here, you can see these are all sectioned off. Private podcast means that this is not publicly available on Apple or Spotify. Basically, you have to grant them access. And in here, these are all the episodes. So I told you that this was called 11 Ways to Monetize LinkedIn. The first one, I just do like kind of that flow that I talked about right here. This is one that I just kind of came up with that relates to the structure of a normal webinar that's selling an offer. But on mine, first thing I did is I just kind of talked about, why LinkedIn can change everything for you, and share some of my story about how I created a lot of success using that platform. And then lesson 2, the 11 ways to monetize LinkedIn. Lesson 3, 3 pillars you need to know about LinkedIn. So this is where I'm dropping some value. And then in lesson 4, this is kind of a psychological hack, but I was talking about this is what will get in your way of success because a lot of people are procrastinators. They always push things off and say, I'll do that tomorrow. So this was more of like kind of a mindset episode, teaching them, like if you want to get ahead, if you want to be successful, you have got to take action. And that's kind of priming them to move into buying my offer at the end of this audio masterclass. So this is the back end. Once you get your episodes uploaded here, then you're ready to go. Next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to set up a form to go on the opt-in page. So let me show you the opt-in page that I use. This is kind of outdated and not the style that I really use these days. But back in 2021, 2022, this was kind of what the opt-in page looked like. Um, right here. So it's basically consists of like a title, the image, and then a little subtitle here, and then the form, right? And then they click this button, and then some automations give them access to the masterclass and also get them onto your email list. So what you're going to do is you're going to go create a form that correlates that you're going to use on your opt-in page, right? So typically, they always recommend double opt-in. I always do single opt-in, and then I just use name and email. That's it. Like to keep it simple. The more fields you add, the more friction or resistance you're going to get when getting people to sign in. And then after that is done, I'm going to create two automations. So basically, when this form is submitted, I'm going to grant an offer. I basically created an offer based on this. Okay, actually I have 5 offers here. I told you I was kind of using this as a bonus, so that's what this looks like as I throw it in as some additional value to some of the stuff that I'm selling as a digital product. But basically, this is going to do two things. You're going to set up one that triggers access to your private podcast. Okay. And then the second thing you're going to do, if you want, this one's optional, is creating an email sequence. And I'll show you what that looks like. But basically, when somebody puts their name and email, it's going to trigger access to the masterclass and they're going to be inside of your email list. And then the second thing that you're going to do, if you want, is have it trigger an email sequence. So I'm going to show you what that email sequence looks like. Okay, right here, I've got day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, and day 6. And on this one, I'll be pitching my offer. But basically, these are just kind of walking them through and reminding them to check in on new episodes of the audio masterclass. And you can set up your podcast to be delivered like daily if you want, or just have everything available all at once. I like having everything available at once because I think a lot of people are really into bingeable content. If you structure these well, people will listen to all those one after another, right? And the last thing, after you have your form created and your email sequence, if you want to do the email sequence, then you create your landing page. And again, I've got basically the image that goes along with this. Um, Call to action, sign up for this free masterclass. And then here is just a little description telling them what is inside. This is a 6-episode audio masterclass that will show you 9 different ways. It should be 11 different ways to monetize LinkedIn, even if you have a job and kids like I do. There's some psychology behind that as well. I'll share with you 5 income streams that I've created in the last year, plus 4 more from some of my colleagues. I will also share with you what will stand in your way. That's that mindset bit that I was teaching you or telling you about. And then 3 things that you need in order to monetize and why building a personal brand, even if you don't have a business idea, is the smartest thing that you can do in this day and age. And then I include a bonus as well. Right here is the form. Okay, over here on the left. Okay, I'm going to make sure this form is attached to the one that I created, right? The monetize LinkedIn Evergreen form. And then afterwards, it's going to go to a thank you page right here. Okay. And so this is what it's going to look like on the back end. It's a little bit smaller than it should be. So pretty simple, right? There's like the forms above the fold. I don't have this page going on endlessly below. It's just pretty simple. But this same form just generated like literally hundreds of leads for me. So every time I was on LinkedIn posting about something, I could just drop a little call to action in my post and just say, hey, grab my free masterclass, 11 ways to monetize LinkedIn. And I would just drop that link right into the comment section of my post. There's a million things that you can do with this. It's a fun funnel. And that's about it. So I would love to see what you create with this idea. I believe that this is not an oversaturated type of a lead magnet, and I hope you found value in this episode. A couple quick calls to action. So again, just a reminder, I love creating Kajabi templates, so make sure you drop into the description where I have this broken down and laid out for you. But I also have a link to my template collection if you'd like to browse that and see if there's anything that resonates with you. Also, if you're not using Kajabi, I have a 30-day extended trial that you can grab in the description as well. And if you purchase any of my templates or sign up under my affiliate link, I'll make a small commission at no extra cost to you, and it helps support me and this channel. But I also include what's called the Digital Marketing Vault, where I have literally thousands of stock images, scripts, templates, calls to action, trainings. It is an absolute value that comes with anything that you get from me. So you can find that in the description as well. If you have any questions about Kajabi or would like me to cover something in a video, make sure you drop that in the comments as well. Thank you so much, and I will catch you on the next video.